So I'm back from the Ritchie Brothers auction, so that means now we can get back on this Cascadia. Got the Milwaukee Impact so I can get the tires off, and we can get working on this axle seal. And we got the vehicle speed sensor in, and my wife, while I was doing other stuff, I cleaned this up, and then she took that OSFO rust converter and brushed it on all this stuff and just gave it a coat of paint. You know, again, preservation is what we're after, not really necessarily the appearance itself, but just so it's not any worse. And she painted the steps too. Once that's dry, we'll get the rest of it cleaned up and get the batteries in. But right now, let's get these tires off of here. And hopefully I got enough room in here to get to slide the axle out. Alright, next thing I gotta do is back off the brakes. It's spring brakes, so with the absence of air, this spring that's in this part of the chamber expands, and there's a rod in the center, and it pulls on the slack adjuster, which then does this and spreads the brake shoes out, so we won't be able to rotate this until we back them brakes off. This is a quick disconnect. There's a quick release, I should say. That line in, and put air to it. So that puts air to the brake chambers, overcomes the spring, and allows this to move. Now these are stuck on here, so we'll give it a smack. Get us a little hammer. You can always hear that tone change, you know it's loose. Sometimes we get a ridge build up right here of rust, it won't come out. So we're gonna back the brakes off a little bit. It doesn't take much. Well, I'm betting, based on the way these look, I think that seal started leaking just from sitting, because we don't have, like, the brake shoes aren't contaminated with gear oil. I think it just sat in it. Anyways, we'll have to clean them up and see if they're salvageable or if we need to replace them. Next, I need to get the hub off of here. So you can see how these are pretty dry. It's a little bit on here. They're not saturated, so it tells me that it started leaking while it was sitting. It may have not been leaking for a very long time. So the next thing you got to do is get all these nuts off the end. We'll pull that axle shaft out. We'll get everything off and get it cleaned up, and then we'll get to the brakes. Lost one of my washers down the drain pan. So this has got them spring-loaded locks here. So basically you get in here where you can release these, and then this will come off. It's not very tight usually. I'm not a fan of these style of nuts. You push in and it releases the locks. I really prefer the old one nut sets the bearing preload. Put your lock washer on. You can set the outside as a jam nut. Use the locking thing to hold it all together. I definitely prefer that. See how that works? These get pushed in with the socket and they allow that to spin. That's all that holds it. It's not a big fan. Guess it just didn't have the right angle over the dangle. What's wrong with that bearing? Looks pretty good. Let's say rust got to her, eh? I'd have to say that was leaking for a little while, but not much driving because there ain't none up here. It's all down there. This is the Rev HD seal. And I'm using it because older trucks, the sealing surface gets pitted, and this seal, this part basically can sit still and it creates a new seal surface that actually lets the hub spin on. I've had very good luck with these. I've been using them for a couple years now, maybe. Edge there. It's a spacer. I need that bearing. Okay, now the nut. Here still has to align.
Wait. I think there's a
paint chip.
Okay, I thought it was like a piece of gravel. Okay. And the threads.
You gotta have that socket there. That pushes in on them. You can run it in. There's a sequence on this. I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up. torque spec, I think is right. It's 200. Back it off, one full turn. Then 50. Go back to 50 foot-pounds. If that's the right one. Yeah, gotta make sure it locks into place then. It was in between two. Check your input. It should have a little bit because as the bearings heat up, the rollers and the races, they're gonna expand. So if you make it too tight, then premature bearing wear, race wear. I don't like how loose it is. I like that a little tighter. Sure. You go to that torque 200 first because you'll make sure you got everything seated, and when you're torquing it, we want to spin it so that we make sure everything is where it belongs. I'm pretty okay with that. Okay. Clean this up, get the rest of the gear oil off of here, the gasket off the axle, and put it back together.
There's another one of those razor blade things in there if you want it.
Sometimes you just gotta go the other way. Two splines. I hate when I'm in a hurry like this. I need this tomorrow. I bought a trailer that I need to go pick up, and not only is it a fifth wheel, it's an air brake. Remember a guy that was building ultimate tow brake? You remember that? So he could go get anything. He was like doing all this stuff, like brakes, and suspension, and, you know, all the upgrades. Making a really nice truck, so when he bought stuff, he could just go get it. He didn't have to, you know, kind of come through hoops.
Mm-hmm.
Get
And
in touch with that guy.
and he never finished it.
And then he wants to sell it. Uh-oh.
What?
I guess
Hmm.
I really don't like white on hubs. I've never liked white hubs. I like them to be black. Whatever. I need this thing in the mornings. So these conical seat wedges are what center. They center the axle. If you watch that, you saw how it moved up. That's what centers it, so it sits centered in the carrier. All we had was gray. It is what it is. It'll be better than it was. Before we go any farther, make sure they're rolling through. Hit him again. Okay, now I gotta adjust the brakes before I release that. So I'll adjust them until they're tight. Back them off half turn. I backed them off quite a bit. Okay, that's tight. Now pull the lock on the slack and go back have to turn the other way or so. Couldn't get that exactly, so I'll do it again. Okay, now I go a half a turn on drums that I'm reusing in case they're warped. If they're new drums, sometimes they don't go as much. So there's a quarter and a half. Okay, should be it. We'll still roll.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll it some more. There you go. How about that? Should be good there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's it there. I'm gonna take the jack down. Now I gotta fill the rear end up. Gotta make sure the vent's not plugged. A lot of times this is your cause of why your wheel seals are leaking. So if the vent is plugged and the differential goes around the ring and pinion, they're basically creating hydraulic pressure. And if you don't have a vent, it's going to push it out the seals. So you always got to make sure you clean the vents out. We'll take that hose out because it feels hard to clear up into here. So we'll get that hose off next and make sure you can blow through it.
Ew, like a spider web or something.
A whole bunch of crap came out. So I got an air line up there. We'll blow air through it. There's still more in there.
That's weird. I can't see what you're doing.
There we go. The vent is on. We need to just fill it up now. We're pumping some gear oil in the differential, but you pump it up so high and until it's coming out, but it's going to take time to spill into that hub. So we're going to fill a little bit, and this truck's sitting a little crooked right now. It's downhill slightly, but not a ton. So we'll let it spill into there. We'll let it sit for half hour, whatever. Come back and see if it needs more. Disconnect the air line. So now the parking brakes are now engaged because we released air. Now that big hard coil spring is taking over. So we just take this loose and put it back. So we push it in and then try and pull it back out. And if it stays in, it's locked in right. If it's not, you'll go to pull, you know, if it's not locked in, you go to put air to it to overcome the springs, and that line will just fly off and go flying around. So we'll make sure it's in good. All right, so I got 4 new batteries. Battery box has been coated with that OSFO, and so is the DPF mount. I wasn't gonna, well, my wife painted it too. I wasn't gonna put new batteries in, but I need this truck tomorrow, so I don't have time to mess around to go get other batteries to put in it and put these in the other trucks, so I guess it's going in. I took it for a drive. The vehicle speed sensor works, so the speedometer works is what I'm saying. The ABS light was on when I first turned the key on, and it went off as soon as we started rolling. And we had the check engine light, but it's gone now. We still have the engine light, which I think is for emissions. Yeah, here we go. No active faults, no inactive faults. These are active. So we'll get a picture of these. There's 3 of them. There's no more to display. So we'll clear these codes, and then we'll see what it does. Okay, so I clear the codes, and these 2 come back immediately. So outlet number 1, outlet number 2, they're active. So we're gonna have to look into this and see what's going on here. 33 or 3226 13 and 3216 13. So this is the knock sensor right here, and this is what we're going to consider a smart device. Okay, basically it has a small computer here that takes the information from here and then sends the information to the other ECM, the main ECM. So what we're going to do, because I just have a hard time believing that both of these, there's 2 of them here, an inlet and an outlet, outlet, that both of them failed just from sitting. Now, it's possible, you see here how that one's corroded on the end, you got water in it, and this one's corroded here and could have got water in it too. But before I condemn these, because they are so hard to get out of the after treatment down where they screw in, I want to make sure we actually have power and ground to it that's actually turning this on, because if it's not, then we could replace it and still have the same problem. I mean, the likeness that, you know, water intrusion and corrosion is the problem, pretty high, I would say. But I believe it's pin 1 and 4. I'll have to look, and they're marked on the back of this here. Yeah, I think it's 1 and 4 is positive and ground. Yeah, there you go. They're on the very bottom there. So we're going to take a voltmeter and we're going to back probe that with the key on and see if we have positive and negative here of at least battery voltage, which should be over 12 volts. And then we're going to put a load on that circuit just to make sure that it can actually carry enough power to run these 2, just to be sure. So I got my voltmeter set on DC volts and back probe into that module while it's plugged in. So I like to do this unplugged and plugged in, because when it's unplugged, you can see if you have 12 volts, and it tells you that yes, the supply is there, but it doesn't mean that it has the ability to carry the load and supply enough voltage once the actual load's applied. Because, you know, a lot of times you get a dirty connection, bad connection, you put a load under it and it breaks. So we're showing a little over 12 volts, which is accurate. And the fact that we're still showing 12 volts tells me one thing for sure: we definitely have 12 volts with the key on and the module plugged in. So the module itself is not shorted, because if the module was shorted, the voltage here would be much lower. If it was open, we wouldn't have voltage. So, or we'd still have voltage, but it would not change. Another thing we can do is put a load on this. We can remove this and put some type of simulated load on here and see if that wire has good enough passage or continuity to actually supply that much. So I wouldn't suggest this. It's best to unplug this end and unplug the other end of that harness from the ECM, isolating it completely from the modules, and then try the 2 pins that come from here and the corresponding pins at that one, and use it to put a load on and see if it's okay. So here we have our incandescent light, which will pull maybe, I don't know, I'd have to measure it, but I'd be guessing it's like an amp or two, not much. And we're still showing 11.54, so I don't think that's bad. I think we're okay there. That's enough to... So I ran out of memory in the middle of that, but I tested both of those connectors going to the modules, and they both had the ability to carry a good current. So I don't think that's a problem. I think actually what's happened is they've corroded and, you know, in here and split and let water get inside. They're both the same way, so maybe that's the problem. I called Freighttliner. They wanted $1,200 for the inlet and outlet knock sensors in original Freighttliner, plus I don't remember if that included the core or not, but maybe it did. But they had some in their aftermarket Alliance brand, and it was $800 for the pair of them. And I just don't want to spend $800 for this. I can't see it. I looked online. I can find aftermarkets for just a couple $100. If they last a year, as much as this truck just sits around, it's not a big deal, you know. I wouldn't be upset about that. So I'm not going to be able to use this truck to do what I need to do. So we're going to have to go over to the other property and see if I can get another truck going that would work hopefully just as well, if not maybe even better. So we'll have to pick up on this after I get some parts. I guess it's going to be a little while because I'm going to order them online. So let's go over and look at that other one, see what we can do. I was going to use this Mack tomorrow, but I came over here and I had nothing. Turned the key on, nothing happened. So I started digging around. I put a jump box on it, still got nothing, and found that this is the maxi fuse, 150 amp or 160 amp max fuse. So it has this power cable comes off the battery. It came off of here, this post. Well, it had corroded off. Well, I had this other cable from another truck, so I just put it on and I went to go crank it over, and it's cranking, and all of a sudden it stopped. Well, I guess we lost power there. Then lost power there. It's just a corroded up mess. So I guess I'm gonna go home and make some new cables. Go get an end for this and crimp it on and heat shrink and all that, and then we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. So this is what the end of the battery cable looked like. So I just took a cutting wheel, cut what was left of it off, cleaned it up, and crimped on a new end, put some heat shrink on it. So now we can clean up all of this mess and put it back together and see if she'll start. Alright, I've got it all back together. Needs cleaned up, but at least it's together. Let's see how she's gonna do. See if it fixed the problem. Well, that's a good sign. Apparently the batteries are dead. Stick the world's best jump box on it now. Let's see what happens. Well, I will call that a success. I'll get my scanner. That check engine light will go out here in a minute. It just takes a little while. It does a self-test, or at least it did. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to see what that lightning bolt's for. Guys, tell me that's like a big deal or a very common problem for these trucks. We'll see. Alright, now I remember it's from. This thing has a bad coolant level sensor. It has full coolant, but the level sensor says it's low. And I had unplugged it. I unplugged it, and I never did anything with Into the Mack slash Volvo dealer and got some parts for my Volvo. So I got a coolant level sensor. It's in here. I got to pull that out and swap it, and we'll see if that takes care of that little lightning bolt line like they said it probably will. I guess this is a pretty common problem on these. At least that's what this dealer told me. It's supposed to just be a push-in with a clamp that holds it. It just snaps in place. Yep, that's all it is. I assume that comes off. That's just a protector. Let's see. Can it come out of there? Oh, shoot. Well, I guess we're not going to lose any fluid. It just works off light, apparently. Very cool. So that must be like a light deal. Like you try to clean this off. Maybe it would work. Probably not with all the mud daubers in there, but okay. Well, got my scanner in here too, so I'll tighten this thing up. Ooh, I wonder if it matters which way it's turned. So, here's the pintail. Plug it in. Okay, now, let's turn it on and see what happens. It may take a couple key cycles for that to clear, I don't know. Alright. Jump box is on. Key on. Oh, oh. How about that? Oh, happy day. Happy days. All right. The only other problem with this is the brake pedal kind of sticks from sitting around, I guess, but it's not terrible. Man, that's great. I'm so happy that took care of that. All right, I'm gonna let this run a while. I'm gonna put my jump box in here. I'm taking my scanner with me too. Yeah, so I guess I can put the battery box back on here. Now, but I'm not leaving till tomorrow. I guess I'll leave it off. I may have to jump it again. You may think, why don't I just put batteries in it? But I'm only going to use this truck to do this, and probably either put it up for sale or let it sit. I really don't know. I need to just sell it. That's probably the smartest thing to do. Have my wife clean up the interior and get her up for sale. I can't remember the miles. Is it 860 or something? What is it? 886. 886. Got enough fuel. AC works. I was supposed to put a blower in this, but I think I got that one working, so I didn't. It works okay. I think the AC is working. Okay. Yep, it's working. Great. Happy day. Well, I put a few miles on it, drove down the road. It runs good, it drives good, it handles good. Doesn't do anything weird. The lightning bolt light stays off now. No check engine light. The only thing I'm still dealing with is that brake pedal. It will stay applied. Like if you hit it hard enough, it'll come back up. But if you're just doing a gentle press to it, it kind of stays. You got to give it a little tap. That and the AC works. It's cold. It's just not a lot of volume. I was going to replace that blower motor and I forgot all about it. So I probably should have got that while I was at the Mack dealer. But oh well. It'll be fine for tomorrow. It's just like an hour and a half drive each way. It's not too bad. So we'll go I'm gonna gather up some chains and binders. I wanna make sure that crane stays in its cradle and strapped down good. And I'm betting our ambient temperature is not right. It's not 102 today. Wonder where the ambient temperature sensor is in this thing. Probably in one of the mirrors, isn't it? Anyways, we'll get some chains and binders and get on our way. Well, I guess that'll be in the morning. So I gave it a good look over, and there's a few minor things I could probably take care of. Tires on this drive axle are good. The brakes and the brake chamber and seals all look good here. Airbags look good. These tires look low compared to these, but we need 2 30-seconds on drives, 4 30-seconds on steers, and we have more than that here. We're okay. It just doesn't look as good because, you know, obviously the front looks good. But the U-joints all look good. I don't see anything concerning. The fifth wheel locks in good. I used it to move a trailer not that long ago, I guess. Well, I guess when I bought the truck, I guess it was a while ago. But when I go to sell this truck, I'll put 2 more tires on that match this caliber and this exact tread, so, you know, it'll be a little bit nicer. And then we'll take care of a few more small incidentals, and then the old Mack is going up for sale. She can be somebody else's Mack. Mack Daddy. It's a decent truck. It really runs good. It drives good. I'm just not a Mack guy. Anyways, guess we'll start tomorrow. See how she does.